Next one on the offensive side of the football is going to be Green Bay Packers running back Aaron Jones, one of the most dynamic backs in the league, one of the huge keys to their offense, one of the reasons they were so successful. And that's why, I mean, you still have Williams, you still have DJ Dillon, two running backs that are solid, but there are no Aaron Jones. That's why Green Bay pay the man, keep Aaron Jones. Don't let another. I mean, you already don't surround Aaron Rodgers with offensive talent, so don't give a piece of offensive talent away. You have to keep him. You have to keep him. It's easy. It's simple. Sign the man, pay the man.
I get you, but here's the problem. If the Packers want to bring in a receiver, they can't sign Aaron Jones. You can't be, going around spending 12 to 14 million on a
And
running
that's why
back.
I'd rather just keep Aaron Jones.
But here's the like they knew this was coming. They knew that Aaron Jones was a free agent next year.
Yeah.
Why would they draft AJ Dillon in the second round if you weren't going to let go of Aaron Jones? I think the writing was on the wall when they drafted Aaron Jones. And I don't know. I see them getting more, just diverting more assets to the outside. I think they proved last year that Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league, and he just cannot be backed up by Equinemius St. Brown, Alan Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Those guys are just not cut from the same cloth as any other like bona fide starter in the NFL. So I just think they have to spend resources on the receiver position, and that's going to not allow for Aaron Jones to get a deal with Green Bay this offseason.
Very fair. What offense needs a dynamic running back?
I think a team down south
Mm-hmm.
wears red and black
Mm-hmm.
tried to sign one of these guys last year. Worked in the red zone, but didn't work anywhere else.
Did
But
that
of
guy
course,
have
I'm talking about
a
the
crap ton of arthritis and was just kind of not good anymore and not worth his contract?
Yeah, I think one thing that Atlanta needs to do before they sign Aaron Jones is definitely look at his medical records to see if he has any degenerative knee issues. And if he does, maybe don't sign that guy. But who am I to judge a team for giving him a second chance? Because one thing that I know heals over an offseason is arthritis. That's something that is it's definitely a short term injury. So good on them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Aaron Jones is going to go to Atlanta. I think this is their big offseason move in lieu of getting a new starting quarterback in the draft. I think they're going to sign Aaron Jones. They're going to give Matt Ryan a check down guy out of the backfield. Julio's going to come back. Calvin's going to come back. They're going to run that offense back. Um, I really, really like Arthur Smith, and I think he can do a lot of good things with that Falcons offense. And one thing that I think would just give him the best opportunity to succeed in his first year in Atlanta is to retain your veteran quarterback. He's not at the point where he's worthless. He's still got some juice. I still think he's in that 11 to 20 range of starting quarterbacks. Comparable to a Kirk Cousins or Jimmy Garoppolo or even like a Ryan Tannehill type. He's in that same mold of average starting quarterback. So you give Matt Ryan another weapon of the backfield that can move and has two good knees, and I think Aaron Jones just creates just a whole new part of this offense that Arthur Smith is going to have a ton of fun with.
Next guy is Allen Robinson, and now for ever since like the whole offseason started, I was like, oh, Allen Robinson, just go to Green Bay, stay in the division. And now I think things have changed a little bit, especially with the Giants cutting Golden Tate Wednesday. And that's why with that, I think Allen Robinson is going to be a New York Giant. He's going to be a guy that's going to try to help save Daniel Jones's career for however long that's going to last there in New York, because I'm still not super sold on him. He's a really good running back. We've seen that because the team's leading rusher for essentially every single game that Saquon has not started or played in. So he has that going for him. I think Allen Robinson's a great fit though in the Big Blue, and we're probably going to see him get signed there, probably a few-year contract too.
What's the most underrated part of Allen Robinson is how effective he is with overdrafted white quarterbacks coming out of a bad school
Oh
with fumbling
no!
problems,
Oh
accuracy
no!
issues, have a little bit of, have a little bit of run to their game. They're sneaky mobile, have that dumb face, that face that you just see in the picture and you just, can't really, I
Oh,
forget,
that's
am I talking about
tough,
Mitch
man.
Trubisky or Daniel Jones at this point?
That's
Um,
tough. Oh
I
man.
honestly think there's almost no other way that I see Daniel Jones's career going other than Mitch Trubisky's. So Allen Robinson is the perfect guy to just move along that career path. You're on the straight and narrow, Daniel Jones. You have this Mitch Trubisky lane. Stay in it. I'll be the guy. I'll get a ton of targets. I'll get a ton of numbers. I'll keep my title as one of the most underrated offensive players. Put me on a good team and I'll win. But I don't think Allen Robinson's that type of player. I don't think he's a winning player. I think he's a good stats, bad team guy. And I think that the New York Giants is a perfect spot for Allen Robinson to be.
And they're a team that could actually be easier to afford him, as well as they still are about middle of the pack with cap space, and he's not going to be a guy that's going to cost too much money. He's going to cost. He's not going to be cheap.
Nah,
He's not going to be cheap, but he's going to be a guy
he's
that
not gonna
might
be
be
cheap.
a
He
little
puts up a
affordable.
lot of numbers.
He's going to be a little more affordable than our next guy, like Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay, he's going to cost it a pretty penny, and that's why if Green Bay does the right thing and keeps Aaron Jones there, Kenny Golladay, a guy that could look great in the green and yellow up there, with the Packers. He's going to stay in the North. He's going to stay in the NFC North. He's just going to get franchise tagged by the Detroit Lions because you can't lose him. You just trade for Jared Goff, and I know Jared Goff is not the quarterback of the future for the Detroit Lions. No one thinks that. The Lions organization doesn't think that, and I know for a fact Jared Goff does not think that. But you're still going to have to try to win games, and Jared Goff is going to be there to fill in until you can actually get a real quarterback. And if you want to keep a real quarterback there now, or you want to try to at least stay competitive now, you need to pair up your quarterback with a solid wide receiver one. And that's what Jared Goff could have in Kenny Golladay. And I want to see this because Jared Goff has never really had a wide receiver one. Alex, we touched about this, that the Rams in Sean McVay offense doesn't really operate with a wide receiver one. So that's why it'd be nice for Kenny Golladay, just get tagged, stay in Detroit for at least one more season, and keep that pairing up and see what we can do. Maybe they find magic with Goff and Galladay. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's the most likely outcome of this offseason, but that wouldn't be fun. So I'm going to send him to the Chicago Bears because, I think it'd be funny to see him again in the NFC North, just basically take over the exact same role that Allen Robinson had the last 4 years, where you get a ton of targets. You have those stat lines at the end of the game where you have 11 targets for 6 catches and 72 yards, no touchdowns, and you lose by 3 touchdowns. And I see that in Kenny Galladay's future. I honestly, I really like the guy. I think he's, just a Megatron light, where he is incredible with contested catches, is a red zone monster. Just is always going to go attack the ball and is a really, really good outside X receiver. And he's just going to fill right in that Allen Robinson role that he leaves when he goes to the Giants. So, but yeah, he probably will stay in Detroit, because I don't see any other really option, because they're probably going to not re-sign Marvin Jones. So they have the space, and Amendola is gone. So you don't have a ton of. I think Quintez Cephas might be their only receiver they have on contract right now. So,
well, who else is going to catch the ball? DeAndre Swift? Obviously not. We saw how that worked out in
yeah, you
week
definitely
one.
need a better red zone target than DeAndre Swift.
Oh, especially against a team like the Bears. The last offensive guy I want to talk about this week was the one that was released on Wednesday. Arguably the greatest tight end that this franchise has ever had in their many, many decades of existing. Kyle Rudolph is no longer a Minnesota Viking, and he's going to end up. I promise you, this is the last time I say the name of this team, but he's going to end up in Jacksonville. What's better? Or okay, I'll give you two places: Jacksonville or Cincinnati with the Bengals. Two solid choices there. I'm going to lean with Jacksonville though, because I feel like Jacksonville is just going to be the one that's going to be willing to spend more money. The Bengals are still up there with, I believe they're seventh in the NFL cap in the league, but Jacksonville, young quarterback. What's really good for young quarterbacks? A solid pass catcher to have in the middle of the field. Who is a solid pass catcher that's in the middle of the field? Oh, it's Kyle Frickin Rudolph, a guy that's been criminally underrated for as long as he's been with Minnesota. He's a great guy to have in your locker room. He's a great guy to have on the field. He's a great guy to have in the red zone. You take Kyle Rudolph and you take the middle and you tear up defenses through their linebackers and through their safeties. That's the
Yeah.
way to go with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that one either because, what does every young quarterback need? It's the most overused phrase ever. You need that safety blanket tight end over the middle. But I mean,
It's
the
true.
problem is it's true. It's really true. Like, you really want a guy that can own the middle of the field. You want a big target, especially in the red zone. I think that'd be a great fit, but I think he'd be an even better fit taking the Gerald Everett role in LA. You have a quarterback that from the NFC North that, I mean, Rudolph and Stafford have probably played each other 20, 30 times over the years. So they're
Mhm.
very familiar with each other's games. They seem like they'd be boys. I don't know why, but they just seem like they'd be good friends for some reason. So I think he's going to go play that tight end 2 role in LA. Sean McVay is going to find a way to scheme him up to have 8 wide open touchdowns in the red zone this year, and that's going to be that.